All I hear these days is people complaining about the MCU. Complaining. And it's got me thinking, what made it iconic in the first place? There are hundreds of videos on YouTube right now, all talking about the state of the MCU. And as such, I wanted to say congratulations to you. You have found the one channel that will not mention these words. Woke, diversity, agenda. Not here. No. We can have intelligent conversations about movies and not push agendas. A quick rant, if you watch anybody on YouTube that constantly uses those South Park clips, you know the ones, constantly. That's not a funny person. That's a person with no original thought in their brain. Here's a hint. Using the same jokes over and over again doesn't make you funny. It makes you a hack. To understand what the MCU is missing now, we need to delve into what it was, and hopefully by process of elimination, find out what's missing today. And no, it's not superhero fatigue, it's blockbuster atrophy. I'm using that. It's not just superhero films that suck now. It's a wide majority of big budget films. Blockbuster atrophy. We've been getting so much crap over the last few years, we're all just tired now. We're wasting away. Our blockbusters are slowly wasting away. But in regards to the MCU, we are specifically talking about phases 1 to 3 today. I'll do a quick review of each movie, point out the highs and the lows, and by the end of phase 3, we'll have a pretty clear image of what the MCU once was. And with a quick comparison to phase 4 and 5, yeah, we're gonna know why the MCU was iconic. 15 years has passed since Iron Man 1 was released. Oh, fuck. Look at that. I'm just getting a nosebleed. This is a random... Here's a blooper. Just getting a random nosebleed. What the fuck? I know this looks really embarrassing, but I'm on a time schedule for how long I can film for. So just deal with this right now. Maybe it'll endear you to me. Unlike Captain Marvel, I have weaknesses. I bleed. Although Captain Marvel would bleed. Ew, that's a gross joke. I'm sorry. I can't remember what I was saying when my nose started bleeding. If we want to talk about Iron Man 1, I think it's a brilliant film. I love it. It is so epic. It's badass. Tony Stark is a fantastic character. And Robert Downey Jr. really nailed it from the start. There was no real growth into becoming Tony Stark that we love. From the get-go, from his introduction, that is Tony Stark. And what Iron Man 1 does so well is set up the character of Tony Stark. The plot is whatever. Jealous businessman wants to take over a business. Two characters with the same power fight, an MCU staple, but it's the execution. Jon Favreau is a franchise maker. Think about Disney live action, how he gave new life with The Jungle Book, The Mandalorian. He started the MCU. He even has one of the best Christmas movies of all time. Jon Favreau gets it. Yeah, the bleeding's stopped now, so we can continue with a normal face. Sorry if you can see blood there. We're carrying on. And then going into Iron Man 2, everybody has talked about the issues there. It has a bad villain, too much setup for the future. It's a weaker film. It's not a bad movie though. It's a well-made film. It's just got shit in it that takes away from what you really want, which is a true Iron Man 2, a sequel to the first film. I really enjoy these first two Iron Man movies. And I'll tell you a movie I really enjoy that I think is highly underrated is The Incredible Hulk. It's got some badass action in it. The CGI still looks pretty good. I like Edward Norton as Bruce Banner, as the Hulk. The soundtrack, the score is really good. The organs, it's got a darker tone. Tim Roth, the Abomination, before they made him an abomination. And you watch, more people are gonna go back and watch that because the leader is going to be in the new Captain America movie, and that was set up in this movie. I bet you all there will be videos in defense of the Incredible Hulk coming out within the next 18 months. The first Thor. Again, like Iron Man 2, it's a serviceable movie. It's got nods to other things that can be distracting, but in terms of plot, it does its job. You get to know Thor, you get to know Odin, you get to know Loki, who was still one of the most popular characters in the franchise. Yes, unlike Iron Man, Chris Hemsworth didn't really know how to play Thor yet. He grew into the role, but the Thor we get here feels so naive, immature, and young compared to where he ended up in Endgame. It is a great start to the character. Captain America, the First Avenger. I really love this movie. It is cheesy, cheap looking. It feels like a throwback movie. Chris Evans is a perfect Captain America because he just fits into the role of good man wanting to do the right thing. I always thought Red Skull was underused, and I was disappointed they didn't use Hugo Weaving to his full potential. The second act and the whole montage in this movie really flies through what could have been cool action sequences. It introduces the Tesseract, that becomes very important in the next movie I'm about to talk about. It is far from the best Captain America movie. In fact, right now anyway, it's probably the worst, but I still love it. And the Avengers. This was huge. This was huge. I was 14 when I saw this. I remember watching it. I think the biggest laugh I've ever seen out of an audience in the cinema was when Loki was picked up by Hulk and thrown around. This movie shouldn't have worked. Too many characters, but they set them all up individually. You wanted them to beat Loki. You were invested in the plot. Everything about this movie, when you go back and watch it, is really simple. Even the way it's shot like a TV show, but it works because you love the characters, you love what they do in the film, they all get their moments, and it ends with you not exactly knowing what's gonna come next. And that's phase one. What are we gonna take away from phase one? To me, the best thing the MCU did in phase one was set up its characters. Characters. By the end of each individual film, and by the end of the Avengers, you had a clear idea who each hero was, and you had a clear idea where their arcs could go. You wanted to see where it went, you liked the characters, and that kept you invested. What didn't work might be some of the world building, some of the villains. These are the foundational periods, the stepping stones. We're trying to figure out where we're going. It's admirable we even got this far. And the takeaway, phase one sets up the characters. So where do you go from here? Well, you go back to the one guy that you know will be a success.